Welcome to Get in the Ring with DJ D Coops and Beast Mike on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Yes, it is. It's time to get in the ring with DJ D Cooks and Beast Mike.
It is quite the situation that we're all still, unfortunately, dealing with. But there's good news and bad news this weekend. The good news is WrestleMania starts tomorrow. The bad news is,
unfortunately, it's WrestleMania.
WrestleMania starts tomorrow. Not the same flow. It just doesn't have the same energy. It just doesn't have the same vibe to it. Doesn't have the same kind of style to it. I'm perfectly fine. I think it would have been the right move to have a WrestleMania go 2 nights. Unfortunately, this is...
No, they should have downscaled it, honestly, in my opinion. They should have had just 6 matches, just done their top 6 matches, and said, fuck all the rest.
What 6 are you taking?
I'm just going to take the 3 women's matches.
Okay.
Edge Orton, and the 2 world title matches.
Those are probably
your 6 holidays.
I would agree. I agree with most of them. I wouldn't take the SmackDown one, even though Bayley is worthy of defending her title because she's had a good run. I would take AJ.
I'm not doing Tina and the Fiend. I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that.
The other match I would take is Taker Styles. That's the other match I would have taken. And honestly, the one that I feel the least confident in is Goldberg and whatever happens with his match. That would be the one of the other ones that we agree on taking. I'd have the least confidence in because I don't know how quickly they're going to
throw it. But it's frickin' Goldberg. You can't leave him off the show. So.
Right.
So here from the Wrestling Observer. The most unique WrestleMania in history airs in 2 nights in front of no fans at the WWE Performance Center, a show that was actually taped on 3/25 and 3/26.
Mm-hmm.
At press time, which matches are on what show have not been determined, and while Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler and Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins have had interviews talking about being on the first night, we are told that everything was to be edited and all decisions were to be made.
Mm-hmm.
I am not sure what the purpose of doing the show is now. They're giving up $15 million to $17 million when it comes to ticket sales and merchandise sales.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the time frame, the increase of network subscription, the biggest value of the show, won't be there anymore near the level it has been in the past year. So they're basically giving up the WrestleMania bump, which means the year-over-year network subscription will be even worse than projected. And the atmosphere of crowning new champions won't be there. While the talent will try their hardest.
It won't have the same vibe.
It would be very. It will be very difficult to have a good show on the first night, and even harder on the second night. It was hard enough for New Japan on the second night of the Tokyo Dome show with the best talent in the world and 30,000 fans in attendance. To try the same with a far lesser level of talent and no fans with a limited production due to limited people in the building seems almost impossible. That being said, with what they're doing with the two shows under the circumstances and almost being taped, allowing for production and editing, it's forced to one night live and with no fans, 7 hours. The theme of the business right now is do the best under the circumstances.
I can commend them for trying.
I'm not going to commend them for trying. I think it's fucking ridiculous.
I don't know. I just don't know how successful they're going to be. And I can agree.
I think it's fucking ridiculous.
Should they probably shut it down? Sure. And just build it up for SummerSlam?
No, I agree they should shut it.
I can live with that. But since they're going to go all in and just go for it, they're going to try. I just don't know how successful they'll be. In a perfect world, I think it would have been for the best to build everything up for SummerSlam and just keep it moving. And just keep it moving for that. And I guess do clip shows or something for 3 months. I mean, they got the content. I
don't know.
But
I don't know if that's going to even be an answer.
That would have been hard. That would have been really hard. So I guess they took the lesser of two evils, I guess.
Given that one would expect a feel-good show with lots of baby faces going over and title changes, even if you can't deliver on atmosphere, you can on endings.
On stories.
And stories.
Which I think that would be the smart play. Not every title should change hands, but I think a lot of them should. I think that would be the smart play. Is have a bunch of title changes because you build suspense for what happens afterward. I think that would be smart.
Perhaps holding this off until July, August, or September would mean less than a full stadium, but 35 or 40,000 instead of 55, 60,000 is multiple times better than zero in every aspect. Of course, there is no definitive date of when the show could happen, but while they could join the rest of the world as opposed to being stubborn and thinking timetables can't change even in a pandemic. I agree with that 110%. Ironically, the criticism of them doing the show is greed, and it's the exact opposite. Unless it's greed for them showing the power over its outside influences, showing its greed over the outside influences, because greed over the outside influences, because greed usually associates from money, obviously from a strict money standpoint. This was the worst decision. This was the worst decision possible. The theory here is, with less competition and no sports, that more people will watch it probably is the case. But with wrestling viewing being down, not up, even with more people home, but the idea that if it was a free show, not a paid show. From a fan enjoyment standpoint, it was a bad decision as well. About the only explanation for it was stubbornness and an attempt to prove that they can overcome the real world and tell some stories on future documentaries about how bold they were and how they put smiles on people's faces, and how the world needed to be cheered up.
Well, that's clearly
and that's how I feel why they're doing it. And it's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. They shouldn't be doing this. I feel that strongly about it. I don't think they should be fucking putting their talent at risk. Because Vince McMahon has a bigger dick than everybody else and thinks everyone should be
grateful because Vince is actually doing something different. That Vince is actually has the guts to or the stubbornness do something.
It's stubbornness. It is absolute stubbornness. It's not guts. It's not guts. It's not bravado.
Guts isn't the right word. No, it's bravado. It's bravado and arrogance. It's definitely bravado because Vince has pulled stuff like this before. Obviously, the 9/11 thing. where they were the first public assembly since. He's done these types of things before, but it's never been like this, of being the only show, basically the only game in town. Literally the only game in town.
And you want to know what Raw's rating was this week? They had people hopping off the ship. It was in the toilet. It was 1.9 million viewers.
Yeah.
It was below 2 million viewers, you dipshit.
It's not good. I mean, they've taken a beat. Everything's taken a beating since the stay-at-home orders have been.
That's not an excuse. It's not an excuse, though.
And it's not. No. And it's simply not. It's still not gonna. Apparently, not gonna stop him because he's just stubborn. And I'm sure you've read the whole thing. He's the only reason why this is even going, which is not a shock to anybody. It's a shame.
But the fact that he had Roman Reigns having to make the decision at the last fucking minute to say, nah, man.
That's bad.
That whole company should have fucking struck and said, no, we're not working this.
Because you're on your company and you're gonna go on.
Put us at rest.
Show. Yeah, that's pretty. I'm shocked they didn't shut it down at that point. I really am shocked that they kept it going. They're even going to keep it going now after Roman said what he did what he did. That's the part.
I would have thought the whole roster would have said, no, we're not doing this. Because that would have made a statement to the whole company that would have been poetic. That would have been something.
That really,
it
would have been a statement to Vince more than anyone. I'm not sure anyone else, like any of the higher-ups, really would have wanted to go through this except for Vince. So he basically drags everyone in kicking and screaming. So I think that's the way that this happened. I think he may have been on an island, but it's his island. So I think there lies the problem here.
Right. So Reigns confirmed it 3 days later. So you saw the answer.
They even put the graphic of Goldberg and Reigns even on Raw. Which,
yeah, that's fucking bullshit.
That's stupid.
That's fucking false advertising.
That's stupid. Yeah, exactly right.
Everyone on the internet knows.
Everyone who paid any sort of attention to the web understands and knows what's happening and agrees with Reigns. I 100% agree with Reigns, considering his leukemia. I 100% agree with Roman Reigns. And he's got a compromised immune system. Completely understand Roman's decision.
You're gonna advertise Roman Reigns? Are you fucking kidding me? This is fucking.
You didn't.
So you're gonna show?
You didn't see this? Yeah, towards the end.
No, I did see it, and I'm getting more fired up about it.
Yeah, right before the go home segment with Heyman, which was a good promo by Heyman and Lesnar. But yeah, no, they told that's what they did, and. Here's the kicker about this. They did nothing about Reigns, but then you know this Andrade situation, right? Andrade was immediately got replaced by Austin Theory. They wasted no time in putting Austin Theory in the tag title match to Street Profits, as opposed to Andrade. I think Theory's a little too. I don't know if Theory's ready for that life, but that's a double standard, ain't it? That's a real double standard. I think they kind of mishandled that. At least replace Roman. I understand them replacing Andrade. Fine, cool. But I think they really mishandled the Roman part of this. If anything, have Roman get laid out in the back, or have Roman out down in the back with the trainers or whatever kind of tending to him, and then Strowman appearing to confront Goldberg in the ring or something. At least give yourself time to set it up. If this is the route you're gonna go, but yeah, they mishandled this badly. And maybe they'll do it at WrestleMania, maybe. But even then, it's just mishandled very, very badly. This whole this whole Roman and Goldberg thing is mishandled horribly. But yeah, this is gonna happen. And honestly, of the titles that are going, whether we like it or not, this is going to go down. Of the titles that probably should change hands, I think Becky, Goldberg. These are people I think who should lose their titles. Becky, Goldberg, Sammy. Even though I like Sammy as IC champion, I think Daniel Bryan winning would be fine. I think Rhea should retain. I think Lesnar should lose. I think Miz and Morrison should retain. I think Bayley should retain.
Oh, we haven't got to that part yet. Oh, fuck. Miz is sick. Miz is sick.
Yeah.
Miz is not allowed to perform. Mysterio's not allowed to perform.
Which ties their hands up even more. Sad, in a normal circumstance, that would have been one of the matches I would have been looking forward to the most, the Triple Threat Ladder. But then they even ran a promo earlier tonight with all three teams, and then Miz and Morrison standing at the end. So yeah, if they're gonna lose the titles, it probably should be the Usos taking them. But they tied their hands up there too. So that's probably, I think, what should happen of all the titles that retain. I would have to think Owens wins his match. I'd have to think that Otis gets revenge. I'd have to think that knowing that Miz is sick, probably the tag titles.
So here's how Meltzer weighed it out. So Paul Levesque did an interview with Ariel Helwani and said that Rob Gronkowski did things that people will be surprised to see him do, and obviously he'll be a key to the show and to get a SportsCenter moment. He also said there were many things that take place that will change how they do business going forward. So this is the 16 matches at this point. At press time, there were plans for the matches from this list to be on the pre-show, and no new matches being added. That was also all subject to change over the next 48 hours. Everything was taped, but the idea was after things were taped, based on how the bouts played out, editing, time of matches, etc., decisions would be made on what night and what spot of the show each match would take place at. If it's not the first day of taping was day one, or Raw's day one, or SmackDown's day two, etc., 4-1, 4-2. You know what I mean.
Right, I get you. It's not show-centric. It's not in order of what match happened. They're going to probably, I would imagine, try to do everything they can to make sure both shows last about 4 hours apiece.
Yes. So this is the show update. Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. In Paul Heyman's go-home promo, he guaranteed that 1 year from now, the go-home show for WrestleMania, Lesnar will be champion. He did not guarantee he would beat McIntyre. On a show where you expect faces to go over, McIntyre could win the title. My thought is that it doesn't matter who is the champion when nothing's going on. If the idea is for there to be a title change, it's better to do it in 3 months.
You think it's better to do it
3 months and kicking off the rebranding of the company rather than have a win and have it mean nothing with nothing going on and have it develop any momentum for months. Whether the idea was to, before I do a title retention with a finish to build a return, and then change the title when the properly timed return takes place, which I don't expect that to happen, according to Dave.
So he expects McIntyre to win, but he would probably let them retain and then McIntyre win it later.
Yes.
I can agree with that. I can totally live with that. I can completely understand why. You want to give McIntyre, really, like on the first show they have back with fans in the building, that would be the time for McIntyre to win. I think that I understand that theory. I think McIntyre will win anyway, and they'll try to go not business as usual, but just business. But I can completely understand Meltzer's thought of have Lesnar retain, hold on to the title until everything is back to somewhat normal, and then McIntyre win the title on the first night back. I can understand that thinking.
Bill Goldberg versus Braun Strowman for the Universal title. Goldberg was never supposed to be champion. It's easy to have Strowman beat him, since rule of thumb here was with a major replacement is you'd put the guy over. Plus, he's a regular, and it would be a big win for him. A part of me said Reigns was the idea, and it was better for Reigns at this stage to beat Goldberg, and that's the wrong turn play. But it has to be safe for Reigns to work, given that WWE will start back as soon as there is a place that will allow them to return, which may as well be at the risk level for him isn't significant. So many places in play in this way are in this puzzle. Reigns beating Strowman for the title feels like something that would be flat. Goldberg's far too expensive to use too often, so the argument for Strowman winning is good too. Over and over, Levesque talked about the show for putting smiles on people's faces with no fans. There's no way of knowing what result put on faces of the past. A title change is more significant, and today people usually cheer on for the happening big title switch, even if the champion is usually popular. Keep this match short.
Needs to be short and sweet. I think Goldberg should lose the title either way, and I'm perfectly cool with Strowman being champion until Roman gets back. Have Strowman kind of go through and bulldoze people like he did in 2017, and Roman be the guy to stop him. I mean, that would be the most efficient way to do this. But Strowman, I think, absolutely should be Goldberg and Goldberg's reign as champion.
Edge versus Randy Orton, last man standing. This has been the best build of any match on the show. Edge should win, and it's a shame this will take place with no crowd.
Yes, this match would have.
That's all he's had to say.
This would easily have gotten the most attention and easily have been, I think, the best match of the entire either.
I think their promos have been okay, but I just think all the promos, not just Edge and Randy Orton, just all the promos have been bad just because it looks like junior high theater when you're auditioning for a role in the musical.
I will say all the promos would have been they were all catered to an audience. There's just no audience. I think that's a...
Yeah, they're all catered to an audience, and when you don't have an audience, it sucks.
It doesn't have that same emotional connection that it would have. Like remember, like when Randy RKO Beth, that promo had emotional connection and an emotional hook that everybody could get.
Right, you should change how your promos are structured then.
But the problem, they never.
You should change how your promos are fucking structured. WWE does not know how to fucking adapt.
They did not adapt, which is ironic considering Triple H's slogan in Evolution: "You either adapt or you perish." They did not adapt, and I can understand that. Like you're thinking, like the promos are tame. But, like the wording was pretty solid. I liked Edge.
I'm not saying they're tame. I'm saying the formatting of the promos suck.
Yeah, the formatting, yes. Like the.
I'm not saying the content suck.
Yeah, the content.
I'm saying this is Master Thespian auditioning for a high school, middle school play. You know, it's dumb.
But I do agree. Ultimately, I think Edge should win. And to get back on topic, I think Edge should win. I don't think this will hurt Orton whatsoever. But I think it's a perfect way to win, to let Edge win. Maybe Orton get the last laugh. I maybe have Orton hit over the head, and then keep Edge away until crowds are back in, or like you could have Edge with another big draw. Which to me, the next biggest draw would either be AJ or Seth. Would be the next big move for Edge to have.
Undertaker AJ Styles. This is a boneyard match. Undertaker made reference to Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson being there and a Holy Trinity on his side. This match appears to be taped on location.
Mm-hmm. I have to think part of this deal is going to be Kane. I'd have to think so. This screams Brothers of Destruction versus OC, perfectly fine. I can live with Taker winning it. I don't think a loss would hurt either of these guys, honestly.
I don't care.
But I think Taker probably ends up winning the match.
You know where I'm going next.
Fiend and Cena.
Yeah, it's in the Firefly Funhouse match. So this is another location match.
It seems like the House of Horrors match that he had with Randy.
With the Funhouse match. With a Funhouse set. This is going to be fun bad.
It's going to be, it might be that bad movie that you actually go back and watch again. The situation. This is going to be full of psychology.
Wyatt should win this one since there's no real need for Cena to win.
Absolutely, he should. And I think, I told you 3 weeks ago, this is all or nothing for Bray Wyatt. If Bray wins, I think Bray will get put back on. I think Bray's momentum will continue. If Bray loses, I don't think Bray can recover from this. I think you'd finally get your wish of Bray basically being dead and gone in terms of relevancy. I think this is what, to me, is all or nothing for Bray. Bray's going to have to win because, again, there's nothing for Cena to do here. Cena could go away, and Cena's Teflon. This doesn't affect John whatsoever in terms of John's future, because we know he's a first ballot Hall of Famer when he decides to hang it up. So, there's no other way to say this. Bray has to win the match.
All right. Becky Lynch versus Shayna. Lynch held the title for a year, so the time was right for a change to build the returns.
Exactly. I think this is perfectly fine if Shayna wins. I think that they built this pretty well, which it looks like Shayna's going to win. Becky's formed her legacy perfectly fine as Raw Women's Champion for the last year. She crushed all challengers. She's done really well as champion. Obviously, she's become mainstream. I think it's perfectly fine for Shayna to win the title and Becky to pass the torch.
Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair.
I think Rhea should win. I really do think Rhea should keep the title. I think it's perfectly fine if Rhea gets her biggest win. I think Charlotte's done a really good job of kind of egging her on and kind of getting the drop on her a couple of times, a couple of altercations. I think Charlotte's played a really good heel. I think it's been perfectly cool. But ultimately, I think Rhea's momentum should continue, and Rhea should win the match. So I'm going to go Rhea.
Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins should be a good match. It doesn't really matter who wins.
I think it should be Owens. I think Rollins has had a whole lot of WrestleMania moments. This will be Owens' first. I think Owens should have his first signature win on a WrestleMania stage.
Bayley, Sasha Banks, Lacey Evans, Naomi, Tamina.
They had a triple threat between Tamina, Lacey, and Naomi earlier tonight. And it was Tamina getting the pin on Naomi. They've really built Tamina back as their dominant self since he's been back. Ultimately, I think Bayley should retain. I think Bayley should pin Sasha as the last bit of the match. So I have Bayley retaining, and they build Bayley versus Sasha at SummerSlam.
Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan.
I think Daniel should win the title, and I'd be perfectly cool if he did. I think they're going to put on a really good match, Sami and Daniel. They seem to do really good work against each other. So I think Daniel should win the match, and hopefully we get a Daniel Shinsuke situation going forward. But that's the route I would go.
Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory.
4 men making WrestleMania debuts. I think Austin Theory is a little too green for this life, especially since he's kind of been thrown into this deal since Andrade's situation or injury. I think Street Profits need to retain. I think their title run should just be getting started. They're very entertaining together, Dawkins and Montez Ford. But I think the Street Profits should retain their titles. I'm going to go with Street Profits.
So it's John Morrison versus Kofi Kingston versus one of the Usos.
So they're going to split. Okay. And then they're going to have whichever man wins the ladder match, that team wins the title.
Yeah.
I think it would.
Yeah, so
my original thought would be if it's for everybody in, all 6 men in, I would have gone with Miz and Morrison.
You think the Usos should win?
now that because Mr. Morrison.
Hello, Mike.
Yeah, I'm here.
I went to a different room.
Now that Mr. Morrison can't defend the titles.
Sorry.
This is hurt.
Technical difficulty.
Now that Mr. Morrison are hurt, now that Miz is sick and can't really defend the titles, I think it's going to have to be the Usos. So I would go with the Usos. And everyone fully healthy, I would go with Morrison. But I'm gonna go Usos.
Yeah, and a ladder match with no fans, that's gonna be strange as fuck.
That's gonna suck. I thought the match was gonna be really good. In a normal circumstance, the match would have been really, really good. But since Miz is apparently sick and probably unable to go, I'm gonna go with one of the Usos to win the titles.
Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss.
I think it's time for Alexa and Nikki to win back the titles. I think it's been kind of weird seeing only Asuka and not Kairi Sane with her over the last few weeks. While Alexa and Nikki have both been around and both have been in matches with Asuka recently. I think it's time for Alexa and Nikki to win the titles back. So I'm going to go with Alexa and Nikki to be the first ever 2-time women's tag champions.
Otis, Dolph.
I think Otis gets his signature win. Whether he gets Mandy, I don't know, but at least he gets his signature win. I think Otis gets revenge.
Aleister Black, Bobby Lashley.
This match could actually be interesting because of the two guys, because Aleister and Bobby use so much physicality in their matches. I think Aleister gets his first landmark win on the main roster.
And then Elias King Corbin.
Did you see that somebody dubbed the Mufasa and Simba, the Mufasa and Scar Lion King scene where Scar kills Mufasa to Elias falling off the balcony?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, somebody dubbed it on Twitter like 5 minutes after it happened. Logically, Elias wins because Gronkowski's going to do something to embarrass Corbin. That's kind of how this works, right? The celebrity, the host of WrestleMania, or in this case Gronkowski for the second time in 4 years, is going to do something to impact the match and kind of have his stamp on situations. I have to think is what's going to happen here, where Gronkowski screws Corbin out of the match. Whether Corbin goes on a Jinder run immediately thereafter, we'll see. But I do think that would actually be interesting now that I think about it. But I do think Elias wins the match.
It's going to be on WWE Network. Mm-hmm. You can get both nights on Fight.tv and FoxSports.com.
Yep, a myriad of ways to, and this will be the first time, and I think it's a good move that they're not doing the Battle Royals. They just don't have the people to do the both either Battle Royal for the men or the women. So it's probably a smart decision.
Social distancing as well.
So that would be a bad look to have social distancing as a thing in this, to have the Battle Royals in this circumstance. That'd be a horrible look to have either Battle Royal here.
So
36. At least the preview of it, anyway.
Yes, the preview of WrestleMania 36. It's going to be a dandy.
Let's hope the matches turn out good or turned out okay, since obviously they happened. But we're both there. Well, you're clearly dumping all over it, and I'm very concerned.
I have to dump on what I've seen so far.
I don't fault you for it. Isn't that the same momentum that you've heard in previous years? I don't fault you for it. I don't fault you for being incredibly cynical about this WrestleMania. I understand. But let's take it back.
Let's take it to some good empty arena wrestling. Go Shiozaki. Let's take it to some good empty arena wrestling. Did some 3/29/20. So this is recent.
This literally happened this week, is what D-Coots is saying here.
Yes. Yes.
This literally happened this week.
So, Noah ran a show at Kurikan Hall with no fans. And I haven't seen this match yet, so, and neither has Beast Mike, so.
Nope.
And I've heard a lot about this match, a lot of polarizing opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Some say this is a match of the year contender, some say it's totally blue, some's in between. So, let's see where. Did you click on the link?
Let's see. Is there a link to click on? Oh, here we go.
In Skype.
Yeah, okay, I got it. Nope.
It's an hour-long match. I'm concerned that it's an hour-long match in an empty arena.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I think I got the right flow now. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, like how do they keep this going for an hour? Now, were there any? Is this like a normal rules match, or there's no rules because there's no build?
No, there's no rules. I know somebody gets thrown off a balcony here. I know that.
Oh, we going New Jack flows with it. Oh, by the way, if y'all haven't seen New Jack's Dark Side of the Ring thing, it is wild.
Oh, it's fucking brutal.
It is absolutely wild. All right, so yeah, so I'm here now. I'm in
4,
ready to be.
3, 2, 1, go. Kazuyuki Fujita used to be an MMA fighter.
Mm-hmm. And let's get it. All right, so
there's a lot of photographers here. So there are some.
Sure. Both fighters are kind of keeping the social distancing.
Fujita's the bald. Fujita's the bald guy.
Vegeta's bald. Okay. Fujita has not moved.
Fujita looks intimidating. Shiozaki is the
guy with the hair.
Guy with the hair. That's how we can tell these two apart. This is for the GHC Heavyweight Championship.
Okay. Looks like some young boys. I imagine young boys in attendance right there.
Yes.
Shiozaki, as he took a little bit of some steps towards his opponent. He's in the middle of the ring. Pro Wrestling Noah, by the way, is the promotion that's doing this. There are a lot of photographers. There's a dude at the stage. There's a bunch of dudes on the near side of the ring. And the young boys, obviously, on the other sides here. And neither man has done anything yet. The ref is in the far corner.
These guys haven't moved.
They have not moved. Hopefully, this is not happen for the last hour.
So some of the guys he has fought, this Kazuyuki Fujita, Mark Coleman, he lost to. He beat Ken Shamrock.
Nice.
He beat Gilbert Yvel. He beat Yoshihiro Takayama. Lost to Mirko Krokop via TKO, Dr. Stoppage. Lost to Mark Coleman via corner stoppage. Lost to Mirko Krokop twice. The second loss was via decision unanimous.
Okay.
Tadano Yasuda, he beat Tasato Yasuda. He beat Manabu Nakanishi. Yes, that Manabu Nakanishi in an MMA fight. TKO punches.
Nice.
Bob Sapp. He beat Bob Sapp.
Okay.
He lost to Fedor.
Okay.
He lost to Vanderlei. Vanderlei Silva.
Mm-hmm.
Lost to Alistair Overeem. He's overall 18-14 in his MMA career.
While you said all of that, Vegeta took exactly 0 steps.
Yeah, he's intimidating as fuck.
So the social distancing is very, very real right now. He did crack a smile,
Yeah,
though.
yeah. This is the first 10 minutes of this match. I legit this stare down.
No wonder they took an hour.
Part of this is the social distancing.
As you can actually see, you can notice around the ring, some of the camera people, you can notice they actually got the masks on around the ring. Yeah, you see the camera dude behind the ref. You see he's got the mask over his nose and face, for example.
We're not going to watch a 27-minute stare down. Even though that's fucking intense.
It's like one guy is waiting for the other to do something. That's literally what's
happening. Dude!
That's legitimately what's going on right now.
Dude, we can commentate on this. Do you want to wait 27 minutes? It's sort of like peaking in a crescendo almost.
It's kind of got that flow to it.
You know what? This works for empty arena almost.
It kind of does. It kind of sets the scene. It sets the scene pretty good, you know? They could never pull this off in an arena full of fans, but it sets the scene.
No. And the camera cuts are perfect too.
Yeah, because you're getting the facial expressions. You're getting the facial expressions and the kind of the emotions of both wrestlers. And like whether like Fujita's expression changes at all. Like, so there you go. Like now like Fujita, you can tell he's not looking at the
5-minute call.
Yeah, you can tell like it's a different vibe to it. Did you finally go back and watch the Chris Benoit Dark Side?
Yes, I did.
Okay, we got time for you to share your opinions. So now that I can.
We have a 27-minute stare down, so.
you got time to share this. All right, let's talk about it.
This is freaking awesome.
This is actually kind of wild.
This is kind of awesome. I'm just gonna get out of full screen and.
I'm not gonna lie, this is actually pretty good.
Cage match. 27. I just and I'm like, it's a stare down this long.
I'm impressed that they're neither guy is legitimately moving and keeping exactly still, and neither is like smiling right now, or is chuckling hysterically as this is happening. Oh, other news that happened this week in terms of wrestling: AEW with a TNT Championship is now a thing. So the AEW is finally doing a secondary championship. I think it's a really good decision. I wish it was an audience that would have been able to see it, but they're gonna do it until and have the tournament until Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Believe next month. I think it's when they're gonna crown a new champion. So
he just blanked. He just blanked.
He did just blink.
He just blinked. He just blinked. He just blinked.
That's funny. That's actually funny. I'm not gonna
Shiozaki has the same. Go Shiozaki. The referee just wants them to fight.
Yeah, the referees treat us like this is a normal situation. This ain't normal. Nothing about this is normal. Nothing about this is normal in the least. The ref is really looking forward to both these two dudes locking horns. But neither guy has budged.
I spoiled it for myself, but at the same time, I'm glad I spoiled it for myself because initially I would get frustrated by this, but now I see what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting. It's a different level of psychology, I would say.
Oh my god!
It's a different level of psychology. This is like next level psychology flow going on in this particular circumstance. Because I hear you. Normally I'd be like, this is really, really boring. But I like the psychology that's happening here.
We're already 8 minutes in.
because you're keeping it. They're keeping it relevant with the times, and at the same time, they're kind of building up to when they actually throw hands. So it's a good psychological build. I'm okay with this. As they're going to close the show with the Fun House. This is the go home segment for before WrestleMania. They're going to close it with the Fun House up in Cena. Well, you know Cena's going to accept the challenge. We already knew that. But
I can't take my eyes off of this.
You know, and the other part about this, you almost can't because you want to see who's going to throw the first punch.
I didn't swallow myself in that.
I think that's the other part to this. Like you don't want to miss the first punch being thrown and then the response after said punch. And I think that's what makes the other part of what makes this interesting. I can see why people found
I wasn't flinching either. Holy fuck!
I can see why people thought this was trash because literally nothing happens. I would guess for the first 10 minutes.
For 30 minutes?
Yeah, I can see why people would think this is trash, but I like the psychology here. For those who don't know, I'm a fan of psychological wrestling. I'm perfectly cool with the psychology that's involved in some of this stuff. So this is interesting, and it's topical. And it's certainly a very topical thing to do at this time and place. So I think it's a very interesting look.
They're trying to bang the mat, trying to get these two to flinch. It's not working.
What, they have a trash can for the Astros? Like, what's going on over there? But yeah, these two flinch. They may not mention the Astros and the Royal Rumble, but I'm gonna mention them here and put them on blast. But it's totally like that. Meanwhile, these two dudes have not flinched.
Well, you get a little shoulder shrug from Fujita every now and then.
Yes.
And these wrestlers are astounded.
Yeah, the dudes around the ring are just, and so many pictures. There's so many pictures from the camera crew. You can see, again, like I was saying before, there's so many some of the camera people. They have those masks on, as well. You can tell some of them around the ring. Not to be confused with the wrestler with his mask on there, the lower part of the screen. So this is quite a scene. To say the very least, this is quite a scene. The camera cutaways are pretty good. As they cut away to some of the wrestlers, they cut away to some of the photographers. The dude that was at the top of the stage is now no longer there. So things have changed. We are into this video. We are 11 minutes in, about 12 minutes in. Not a move. Fujita has not moved.
Not a move. Fujita nor Shiozaki moved 2 steps.
Yeah. Fujita has not budged. Dude is a statue.
Oh, he just moved his legs a little bit.
I didn't notice that.
He doesn't move to adjust. So his legs don't.
But it's not taking a true step towards his opponent. That is the key point of this. Well, I'm hoping dude doesn't fall asleep.
That grumpy ass dude. That grumpy ass dude. That grumpy ass dude. Like.
He looks legitimately like he's about to fall asleep. You see the younger young boy right there. You can see one of the younger wrestlers right there with the beanie on. Yeah, this is totally a thing right now.
Referee's like, come on.
The ref is like, come on now. But neither guy's moved. There's some blinking going on. People are at least blinking. They're not zombies, but they have not moved. There's a blink.
Fujita may be a zombie.
He really had. I'm a little concerned. I'm not thinking about it. Yeah, Vegeta, that's concerning. He has not budged, not 1 inch. That's a bit of a concern.
He's blanked. We are legitimately commentating on his stare down.
This is actually true. Yeah, this is 2020.
This is what our world has come to.
We've seen some stuff in wrestling, but I don't think we've ever seen anything like this.
And they're not like nose to nose either.
No, like, there's a good 6 to 7 feet between them.
Yeah, they are social distancing.
They really are social distancing. I mean, assuming like a wrestling race 10 by 10, this looks like it's a little shorter. They look like they're 5 or 6 feet between them. So yeah, it's legitimately social distancing. It's a real thing. I think it's perfectly cool that they're doing it this way. Both guys are continuously keeping.
He's shrugging his shoulders. We are officially.
We're close to 15 minutes in. And it sounds like Bray Wyatt
as the closing, his presence known. There's the Fiend.
Mm-hmm.
15-minute call.
Yeah, 15 minutes in. Props to the ref for not moving either. That's the other part about this. The ref hasn't really moved either in this whole situation. The ref's also playing his part pretty well here. Oh, so many pictures are being taken at ringside. So many pictures are being taken at the ringside. A little bit of a flinch there. Hey, moved!
Hey, they moved!
Yeah, they moved. Yep. Vegeta actually moved. Is now walking to the opposite side of the ring of where he was, and then he stopped.
To stare!
He actually moved.
Hey, we're not as concerned about Fujita anymore.
No, he's got perfectly functioning legs and a perfectly functioning body. It seems he's just choosing not to use it.
Shiozaki's keeping loose.
Yeah, very much so.
Oh my god.
This is actually wild. Dude, the only move that he made for Vegeta was going from one side of the ring to the opposite, but made no advancements towards his opponent.
He did make an advancement. Like the anticipation's building.
It very much is. The camera cutaways are still very legit in this situation.
Shiozaki has the most serious look on his face.
He really does. He's playing zero games right now.
Fujita just has the grumpiest.
Zaki kind of a regaining.
I can see why this match is polarizing now.
Yeah. Some people don't like the psychology, and some people love it. So I can totally see it. That's what I'm saying. Like some people love the psychology, and some people despise it. I'm in the former group when it comes to psychology and wrestling. I enjoy it. if it's done properly, I completely enjoy it. This is I think properly done. I think it's really done pretty well in this situation. They're keeping it topical, and they're building this up. They're building this up kind of. I don't know if this was planned, but they're building it up. It seems like organically. We're in front of a bunch of fans.
Shiozaki is like, they're like moving at the right time. It's like Fujita is like making the right eye movements even.
They're making subtle movements. Yes, they're making subtle movements to kind of say, okay, let's keep it subtle, and then eventually they'll throw hands, and then it's like once they throw hands, it seems like it'll be a demolition derby. One would have to think. But yeah, you can tell how weird this is. So WrestleMania, I was kind of thinking of this. Oh, we obviously got time before they throw hands. I was kind of thinking of this before.
Yeah, we're about 10 minutes. Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking of this before the show. What if you could only watch 5 WrestleMania matches? What are the 5 you're watching?
I am watching Rock Austin.
Which one?
17.
That's 2. Rock Austin 2.
Oh, 5.
I even like it's hard to pick 5, so you can even go 10 if you want to go 10. You can go.
Okay. Okay. Choosing 10's
there's
hard.
just so many. Even choosing 10's pretty challenging, but you can even go 10.
Bret Austin, WrestleMania 13.
Mm-hmm.
Taker Punk.
Taker Punk's from 29. Okay.
Trying to think. Brian Triple H.
Dan Bryan Triple H from 30. Okay.
Flair Michaels.
The one they did earlier tonight. Okay.
Savage Steamboat.
Savage Steamboat from 3. Cool.
Bret Owen.
Bret Owen opened up 10.
That's 6. I'm trying to think of mid-years WrestleManias.
Okay.
Like 18. What was a great match at 18?
The signature was Rock Hogan, but I'm not sure there was any.
Rock Hogan, definitely.
That was the signature match.
Rock Hogan, definitely.
I know they called the
7.
show with Triple H Jericho, but Rock Hogan was the signature.
I know there's the triple threat from WrestleMania 20.
Mm-hmm.
That's 8.
That's 8. So now you got 2 more.
WrestleMania 8 had 2 really good ones. Savage. What's WrestleMania 8? It had 2 really good matches.
Was that the one with Savage and Ultimate Warrior, or was that a different? Am I thinking of a different one?
You're thinking of a different one.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a different one. But that might have been.
That's WrestleMania 7.
That was 7. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, what was it, like the loser leaves town, or the loser's career ends?
Loser career ends. That's a great match, but
that was a very good match.
Hogan Warrior.
That was from 6.
I'm trying to think WrestleMania 8.
So you got 9. So you got one more left. You got one more left.
Flair Savage.
Flair Savage. Oh, was that the one where Savage passed out to Flair and Flair won the title? Or I'm thinking of a different event. I know that was the ending of a match. I don't know if that was the ending of that one.
Oh no, Piper Hart.
Okay, Piper
Brett.
Okay, Piper Brett's your 10th. Okay. All right, so obviously the one that I'm sworn by is Shawn and Taker from 25.
Oh fuck!
Yeah,
Fuck!
That's obviously the one I'm sworn.
Fuck! Let me change one. And do Shawn and Taker.
There's gonna be another one you're gonna want to change that you didn't mention, but we'll get. But what one are you gonna take out then?
I'm gonna take out Piper Brett.
Okay. The other one you may want to change right after I mention it is the Iron Man match.
No, that didn't age well.
You're gonna keep
that didn't age well for me.
All right.
It doesn't age well for me. I was thinking about it. Doesn't age well for me.
Okay.
I've seen better Iron Man matches.
We've seen better since, but I don't think I've seen better on a bigger stage. Like we talked about it earlier this year. Omega Pac's Iron Man was excellent, and which was I think overall a better.
I've seen better 2 out of 3 falls matches. Okada Omega
was an excellent 2 out of 3 falls. But I think like in terms of
90 minutes, the endurance, everything. You know.
I get it. Gargano Cole last year was an excellent 2 out of 3 falls, but the Iron Man for Shawn and Brett, the 2 best at the time on the best stage at the time. On the best stage, where neither could get a fall.
Saying that they were the 2 best at the time, 2 best American wrestlers.
2 best American wrestlers. That's I should probably preface that. But yeah.
There were 4 pillars of Japan that would say they were the best wrestlers in the world, and 3 musketeers that would say they were the best wrestlers.
That's fair.
In Japan, that would say.
Fujita actually moved, by the way. He's actually towards the middle.
He actually moved.
To keep everyone updated. All right, so here's my 10. I'm gonna obviously Shawn and Taker from 25, Shawn and Brett from WrestleMania 12. I'm going to take TLC 2 from 17. I'm going to take. I'm gonna take Rock.
I would kill. I would kill for that.
TLC 2 was amazing.
But I was going for more work rate than destruction on mine. So, what were my 10?
The oldest one you said. The oldest one you said was Savage Steamboat from 3. That was the oldest.
I'm not taking Savage Steamboat off.
You said Savage Steamboat. You said Owen and Brett. You said.
I'm not taking Owen Brett.
I agree with you on Austin and Brett. I agree with you there. That's
the greatest WWF match of all time in that era.
I agree with you 100% on Austin and Brett. I'm rolling with that one because the double heel turn and everything that had happened and that's the match that really launched Austin into another stratosphere.
That launched the Attitude Era. That's a perfect match. That's a perfect match.
It was handled perfectly and it was handled really, really well done. So I'm taking that one with you. I agree. I agree with you on the triple threat from 20. I agree with you on. Okay, so triple threat from 20. You had Rock Hogan. I had Rock Austin too.
I would take Rock Hogan. Off and put TLC 1.
TLC 2, you mean? TLC 1 was SummerSlam.
TLC 2.
Yeah, TLC 2 was absolutely crazy. Another one.
Yeah, I would take TLC.
Another one you didn't say that I was a little surprised you didn't. Angle Shawn Michaels from 21.
I love that match, but it wouldn't be in my 10.
Okay. Angle Shawn from 21.
Just eking outside the 11th spot.
Yeah, that's one of I can see why you would say honorable mention for that one. Let's see here. So I've got Sean Brett Iron Man, Sean Taker 25, Triple Threat from 20, Rock Austin 2, TLC 2. So WrestleMania 17, which I always said is the greatest WrestleMania, they had 2 matches here. So that's 5. I've got both of Daniel Bryan's matches from 30 because I think one's not complete without the other. So that's why I had to take both.
Okay.
So that's 7. I took Kofi Daniel from last year because of the moment that it caused. So
Okay.
that's 8. I'm taking. So I got 8. I got 2 left. Angle Sean. I'm pretty sure I mentioned of the 8.
Angle Sean. Brett Austin.
Let's see.
Brett Austin.
I tried to do this chronologically. So the oldest one I have is Sean. I didn't have Ricky and Macho Man. That's certainly probably 11 for me. Ricky and the Steamboat and Savage. That's probably 11. So that barely missed. So chronologically speaking, I have Sean and Brett from 12. I have Brett and Austin from 13. I have TLC 2 and Rock Austin from 17. That's 4. I have Triple Threat from 20. That's 5. Angle Sean from 21. That's 6. Taker Sean 25. That's 7. Oh, so I got room for. Oh no, I don't. Both Bryan matches from 30, and then Bryan and Kofi from last year. So that's my 10. And the one that missed was Savage and Macho Man. That's my 10.
Savage and Steamboat.
Savage and Steamboat, yes.
Yeah.
From WrestleMania 3. So that's the one that missed. That's the one that's 11th.
Let's do that for each of the pay-per-views. Here we go. 30 minutes.
We're half an hour.
30. Nothing's happened. Who's gonna make the first flinch?
Fujita's at least moving around the ring, kind of surveying the scene.
Who's gonna make the first flinch?
But anyway, so we can at least do 5 for at least the core 4. We can at least do 10 for the core 4 pay-per-views of Royal Rumble, SummerSlam of the other core 4.
Yeah.
We can at least do 10. We can do 10 for those. Definitely. All right.
Yeah.
So
Here we go. We're getting going.
Oh, they're gonna throw hands. They're inching closer to each other. And back away.
Man.
Wait, here we go.
Takedown.
Fujita with the takedown early. Shoulders off the mat.
Brilliant! We got a takedown! Yes!
We got a half hour of nothing happening, and now the takedown. They kind of start the proceedings before they lock horns. Fujita's got a real good grip on the situation here. He's trying to pin his shoulders to the mat, but is unsuccessful so far. His right shoulder on the mat, but the left one is staying up, so that's why the referee's not counting. He's got the head locked in though. He's got a solid headlock. Oh, there was some pin attempt, but it was a kick out at 1. Oh, kick out at 1. Another pinfall attempt, but a kick out at 1. They're inching closer to the ropes, and no, didn't get there.
Referee in great position.
The referee is in tremendous position here, absolutely. Fujita's just looking intently at the ref. But so far, nothing's happened here. With and now we got a side headlock. That grip is in tight too. Right.
Knows what he's doing.
Keeping the leverage. Smart, keeping the leverage advantage, making sure that he can't break free as easily. Vegeta's doing
Almost like he doesn't want to use the ropes.
Kind of, sort of. Kick out? No. He got there. This side of the headlock has been in pretty solidly. Now the shoulders on the mat, though.
Shiozaki. Hey. Shiozaki. Shiozaki.
See here, the headlock is still in tight, very tight.
Shiozaki.
At this point, Vegeta's like playing it for his next move. Probably thinking at some point this headlock's going to be broken. It's just a matter of A, what is
When?
and B,
How?
and how is it going to get broken? But the grip is strong. The grip's been very, very strong thus far. So far it hasn't been broken.
Hasn't gotten up with it either.
Shiozaki is struggling right now to do anything with his headlock. I mean,
Should have grabbed the rope.
He's keeping his shoulders off the mat to avoid getting pinned, but he's done nothing to really, not enough offense effectively to break the hold.
Almost like an anaconda vice.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. We're real close to that. He doesn't have pressure behind the back of the head, but he's still got good pressure. Shiozaki is not in a good straight right now. And now he's riding him.
Got him now.
Now it's a matter of what's he going to do. He's straight riding him. Nothing's happened yet.
Not even punching.
He's taunting him as he does it. He's like, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it?" He's taunting him as he's mounting him, and then as the pressure as Shiozaki tries to do something, Fujita just like puts his body weight on him. He's just adding salt as he does it. Shiozaki can't do anything about it right now. He's got total control. And now Uchima's elbow was in his throat. One thing we didn't mention at all throughout this entire situation, Vegeta looks like he's got a good 30-40 pounds of body weight on him.
Yup.
He's got a good 30 to 40 pounds of mass on it, so he can legitimately lean on him like he's doing right now, and it's going to be very effective. One thing we really should have mentioned earlier, but I'm glad. But we had plenty of time to do so many other things, so this was pretty easily mentioned. Plus, Fujita's getting his point across physically. So much so, Shiozaki has been nowhere. He just can't move. Vegeta, fortunately for his sake, does get up.
And Shiozaki does a standing switch.
Shiozaki gets up now, and both guys are back up to a vertical base. The cameras have been shuddering pretty much non-stop for this entire time.
Don't try to grapple with him, Shiozaki.
This is probably a bad idea because you don't have the muscle for that. At least the muscle to bang with him. Bang with Fujita. But he may try. Both guys are locking up. Let it be known, not a punch has been thrown in this match so far.
And
got a front entry there. And then a takedown. Basically a wrestling takedown. And we're back to where we were 5 minutes ago.
Yup.
Fujita basically got him on the ground. Yeah, that front chancery on him.
The full time he had the mount, he didn't throw a punch.
Nope.
He
It was
could
not
have.
a punch. He could have thrown bombs if he wanted to, but he elected not to. He absolutely could have.
Now we had a slap. Now it's kind of a little testy.
Yeah.
Now you got the ropes.
And we get a clean break.
And Fujita's like, that's bullshit. Essentially the Japanese equivalent of that.
And we back. They're gonna lock hands. And nope, side headlock.
Right there,
Shiozaki with a side headlock in here.
Now we have our first shots of the match.
Mm-hmm. Off the ropes, Shiozaki. They both shoulder tackle, but neither moves. Shoulder tackle, neither moves. Again, part of the course for this match. Oh, somebody tried to throw a punch instead. Whoa! Back suplex. And a shoulder
nice
tackle by Fujita pretty much canceled out the back suplex he just took. Oh, he went for it, and I think he got it. Yeah, he got him in the chest. And now this match goes after nothing happened inside the ring. They're actually going outside of the ring.
Oh no.
Where's Fujita going to take him is the question. The answer is into the barricade.
I think we're going to get a tour of Korakuen Hall, my friend.
It would seem that way. Alright. Shiozaki with the block. Not bad. Shiozaki, nope, get countered. And the barricade. That would hurt. That second would hurt. That first one was pretty bad, but the second one was worse because there was a whole lot of power in the second one. Now Fujita's going to work. Was the ref counting?
Oh, that woke him up.
Yeah, it sure did. Solid job, which I think might have surprised Fujita more than anything. That one was upward towards the throat. All right, that was a little bit more impactful. As everybody moves around the ring, you can see the very nice title belt, by the way, on the looks what would probably be announcer's table.
The timekeeper's table.
And Fujita tried to grab the title, but it was immediately taken away from him. Someone said he should kick him in the gut and clubs him in the back. So is that?
Oh, he grabs the hand sanitizer.
He just guzzled it. He's chugging hand sanitizer. Oh, that burns.
That's not healthy.
No, that burns if it gets in your eye. So how would you do? No. Ow.
That's not healthy.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
He just contaminated hand sanitizer.
Yeah, he sure did. He sure did. So now they're going to the stands, and now they're going up. Now they're going up the aisleways. We are really getting a tour of Korakuen Hall.
We are getting a tour of Korakuen Hall.
Fujita with the basically drives his head into one of the railings. And now they're going down the stairs in what would normally be the concession area,
Yes, the concession area.
Where the concessions would be at. You see room. All the camera people are following them, per usual. They're going to an elevator. They're in an elevator area. the down button. He legitimately pressed the down button. He kicks the door. Okay.
He's like, get back to the ring. You get Fujita.
They're trying to get back to the ring. They're literally legitimately on the concourse right now. We're not making this up. They're legitimately on the concourse in Kurgan Hall. You can see lots of like legendary photos and trophies and various things that have happened in the legendary wrestling building. Now they're going up to the second level of Kurgan Hall. If you haven't seen the inside of Kurgan Hall, and I haven't, so this is a good way to kind of get accustomed to the building, I guess.
Oh, you've seen Kurgan Hall many times.
I've seen Kurgan Hall, but never in this format. And,
no.
And now Kojima bashed Naki's head off the wall, and now they're going into
The balcony.
The balcony, yeah, they're going to the balcony now. Kojima's taking a painful tour of the building. And he basically beats him up as he goes throughout the building.
He's like, no! Referee's like...
Referee's like... level of the building. The ref is trying hard to get him back in the ring, but at this point, there's no way of getting him back in the ring. They're legitimately... Oh, that's 50 feet above the building.
Fujita?
Fujita, you sure?
You sure?
You sure you want to go this route? You sure you want to go this route? I don't even know from no one moving to death. No one moving to death.
Second degree murder.
Why did this escalate so fast?
I love this escalation.
Why did this escalate so quickly? Thankfully, no one was thrown off of that balcony, which is probably the best thing that could have possibly happened. And Fujita actually goes down the stairs. They teethed it hard though. Fujita goes down the stairs, back at the ring. Shiozaki is making his way back as he gets some water. That's actual water, thank goodness. Although let me know, dude just chugged hand sanitizer earlier on in this match.
Dude just chugged hand sanitizer.
Let it be known. Let it be known. Shiozaki's got a pounding headache, but at least he wasn't thrown off the balcony.
No, that would have been a lot worse.
That would have been so much worse. He's holding the front of his neck. He's holding his neck, and he's in a whole lot of pain, but he's at least on ground level and towards the front of towards the ring. He is still in lots of pain.
He's still in lots and lots of pain. Fujita is in control.
He's kind of controlled most of this match since they've actually thrown hands. To be quite honest. I think that
Boston Crab.
I think the next question is he going to how does Shiozaki get out of this? Is the question. How does he kind of establish control?
Ouch.
Or at this rate, does he establish control? The answer is seemingly no. The answer is seemingly no. There's a lot of yelling in this match. I will say that.
It makes up for the crowd noise.
It certainly does. Certainly does. Couldn't have said that picture honestly.
These wrestlers legit had a 30-minute stare down before it intensified into a crowd brawl.
Yeah. Intensifying into a crowd brawl, which almost ended in attempted murder.
Yes.
Let it be known
we're not making this up.
Nope.
Crowd brawl with no people.
Crowd brawl with no people, and almost somebody getting dumped off a balcony. But for the most part, Fujima's dominated this match. This match. Being applied.
And Fujita drinking hand sanitizer.
Yeah. We should also mention that. There was a giant bottle of hand sanitizer at the timekeeper's table, and Fujita basically chugged half of it.
And went to spit in Shiozaki's face.
We got a cover. And a kick out.
We got a suplex attempt. Super A. One go. Nice. Nice flying shoulder. Ouch.
Ooh, nice powerbomb. Oh!
Oh! Deflect! Oh!
Powerbomb.
That was a go. This is great! This is fucking great!
Seems like Shiozaki had little to no offense in this match.
Now he got a bunch.
He got a couple of shots in, but not much else. See some chops. Oh, get blocked. Nice forearm. Nice chop. The clap back. Slaps. Oh, all the slaps. Killer smacks. Martin's get breakfast. And then the forearm. Ooh, nice. Nice close on. He's taking a beating the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, that chop woke him up.
It did.
And that knee basically obliterated him.
Clothesline. German! Ooh, that landing was not pretty. But he's back on his feet. Nice clothesline. Beating was why he couldn't follow up after that clothesline.
Where are you at in the match?
55 minutes. Where are you?
Oh, I was at 52.
Oh, okay, I'll go back 3 minutes.
I went forward.
Oh, there we go.
That was quality. He took a fucking beating.
Yeah, he has.
What, go?
Clothesline. determine.
Hurricanrana! What the fuck? Did he get to the point where Cash Fujita hit a fucking Hurricanrana?
Depends on where it happens. Nice clothesline.
56 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I passed it a little bit.
I was like, what the fuck?
Okay. Oh, word! The dude actually did a Hurricanrana! It was smooth, too! Oh, okay. Fine. Shiozaki was solid offense, finally. After pump handle suplex? A pump handle back suplex, hooks the leg, and no. This big dude actually did a Hurricanrana, let it be known. Maybe there was something in the hand sanitizer when you're drunk, I don't know. No, I am not advising anyone to drink hand sanitizer. That would probably be bad for everybody.
That would be bad for everyone.
Nope,
Come on, get that clothesline.
That's water. Suzuki's trying clotheslines. He's now an instant to go for two, and then gets hit with one.
Holy fuck!
He got right back up, and they got smacked in the face for it.
And you get smacked!
Forearms, chops, Suzuki with some chops. Serious chops.
What? This is my kind of match now! This is my kind of match!
This built up quite well.
To think this was a 30-minute stare down.
Based off of what they're doing to each other in this match, you see why.
Oh!
Fujita could barely stand.
Fujita.
He could barely stand. Suzuki's clothesline finally done so on the third attempt. He didn't hit the leg when he got the three. He chopped down the big three.
Bravo! Okay, am I insane for giving this 4.5 stars?
I'd probably go 4.25 on this, but it's fine if you gave it 4.5. I think.
Am I insane?
You can make a case, and here's the case for it. It kind of paid homage to what's going on presently, as in what's going on in the times of social distancing, and how they paid homage to that. A 30-minute stare down, which is something I've never seen ever in any form of wrestling, and the competitors not move for a good 10 minutes, and not do anything for the first 30 of them. And then,
Oh my god, it was so brilliant.
They went completely insane, and we almost got.
And then they went bonkers.
And they went completely insane, and we almost got attempted murder out of it. And then we got a solid wrestling match in the middle of the ring. So it's a scene. I say, go out of your way to watch it.
Go out of your way to. This might be the most polarizing match of this year. If you don't want to watch 30 minutes of guys staring at each other, I get it. I totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're spoiled on the 30 minutes of guys staring at each other, you get into it. You get enjoyment out of it. Holy mackerel.
Oh, that was the big hook behind all this. Behind the Sonya Mandy thing. Sonya was the one that kind of screwed over Otis. Okay. That's the hook. and Mandy's heartbroken. That's the hook. Interesting. But yeah, no, this match it's gonna absolutely be polarizing. It's gonna absolutely be. Oh, they actually did do the change. Okay, they finally did the change. They did kicking and screaming,
What's
but they
it?
did the change of Goldberg and Strowman. So they finally did the change. Okay.
Tonight?
Yeah, they finally did do the change. The graphic and everything. And the WWE's Twitter account, like the whole deal. They finally confirmed they did the change, the whole deal. So it is Goldberg and Strowman. So yeah, there it is. So that's so that did happen. So there you have it. Yeah. So that's now matches at WrestleMania. Strowman, you're still going to have the no explanation, no build up, nothing. It's just cut to the chase. So Goldberg, they really did mishandle this. They could have done so much with it. Instead, they just said, "Oh, we're just gonna put Goldberg and Strowman on the graphic and make it happen." That's not handled properly. Anyway, this match right here, this match from Pro Wrestling Noah, it's absolutely polarizing because you get 30 minutes of nothing and then the last 25 minutes of chaos.
Pure brutality.
Yeah, there's a lot here that is completely insane. There's a lot to digest with this match. Fujita basically beat the tar out of him for the latter 25 minutes of the match and ultimately lost, which makes it just as wild. It's quite a thing. It is quite a thing.
Plug your Twitter.
Twitter.com/BeastMike is where you can find me. Yes, I'm going to watch what could be an inevitable train wreck that is WrestleMania tomorrow and Sunday. Hopefully everyone continues to support their local businesses, shows love to the medical personnel and all those who try to keep everybody safe. I'm probably going to go Chinese food, I guess, tomorrow night to try to order before WrestleMania. And but yeah, Twitter.com/BeastMike. I'll be tweeting throughout the night. I'll be tweeting through all the stuff that's about to happen and kind of giving my thoughts on everything. And pretty much trying to stay sane during this crazy time.
Yeah, Twitter.com/DJDCooks. Yeah, I'll be tweeting about WrestleMania. Hopefully, me and Beats Mike can talk during night one.
We'll see about
night two.
Definitely, we'll see about night two, but definitely night one, I'll be fine.
Night one, we'll definitely be talking. We'll definitely be bashing the Twitter stuff and stuff like that. Night two, we'll see. Then it just feels so weird.
This whole thing is
so
weird.
For Beats Mike, this is DJD Cooks. That was Get in the Ring.